Michael Van Gerwen, as we mentioned, first televised title since March, beating Mervyn King, who was in his first ranking televised final in 8 years. But for Mervyn King, fell just one leg short of what would have been his first PDC major. How do you think he'll look back at the weekend?
I know we try and stay as impartial as possible on this show, but watching that final on Sunday night, I don't think there would be too many people that weren't gutted to see Mervyn King finish up on the runners-up side on that occasion, because he played superb in that game. And I mentioned just a second ago those finishes that he was getting hit against him, and it weren't like for a lot of those legs he was miles behind. A lot of those legs he was right up there. He was on a two-dart finish or on a double, and see your opponent putting big finishes like that, the big celebrations as well. I know he wasn't too keen on seeing them, but he came back every time, and it was a shame because the 1-2-6 finish that he had on the ball to get it back to 8-9 on throw, the next two legs on his throw, he throws 2 13-darters, and okay, the final leg, the decider, Van Gerwen had the darts, but he closed out in 17 darts. If he'd have been able to produce one of those 13 darters against the throw, we'd have started this show talking about Mervyn King as the oldest first-time winner of a PDC televised ranking event at 54. I'm gutted for him because I thought he played superb in that final, played superb the whole weekend, and looking back on his finals as well in the PDC on TV, 85, 89, 81 in a double start, and 92 was the last one in the Masters. He's averaged just under 100 in that final over 21 legs. I think he's still got a lot more to give in this game, and I think we'll see him in another TV final. I'm not quite sure when it's going to be, but I'll say it now, I don't think we're going to be waiting another 8 years for his next TV ranking final, or 6 years before any TV final from him again. I think the signs are good for him.
I guess in a way, I'll go in the other direction, that I think this was his last chance to win a major. But if he plays like he did this past weekend, I'll be proven wrong, because he was probably, I think it's fair to say, the second best player over the course of the weekend, behind only the champion. And he wasn't that far off him, not just in that final match, but over the course of the entire weekend. You start with his brilliant first-round win over Dave Chisnell, who didn't play too poorly himself, followed it up with another stellar performance against Danny Noppert, beat one of the players of the weekend in Karol Sedlacek in the third round, and then from 7-2 down, just blitzed Damon Hedda, playing might be the 9 best legs of his career to come back and win that match 10-8. He looked like the best player on the planet after the second break in that match. And we could say, he was fortunate not to go 8-2 down. But once he was given that lifeline, he played fabulously for the rest of that match. Lifted his average from low 90s to over 100. Well, we'll throw out the semifinal. He didn't do anything wrong, but Peter Wright didn't show up. And we saw it in the post-match interview where Mervyn King just didn't know what to say, because Peter Wright, who had been great up until then all weekend, just didn't show up. Mervyn King did what he had to. And then in that final, to keep getting hit like he did, those outshots that Michael Van Gerwen hit, that kept seeming like he was putting the match away. Mervyn King just kept hitting right back and didn't do much wrong. Michael Van Gerwen didn't do much wrong. How often can you say Michael Van Gerwen, okay, early on, one of the early legs, he missed a few darts at double and got punished? That was really the only mistake Michael Van Gerwen made the entire match, and he won in a last leg decider. You don't really hear that often. That's how good Mervyn King played this weekend. That said, it's the best we've seen from him in a very long time. You have to feel gutted for him, because if he'd fought against any other Michael Van Gerwen we've seen this year, he would have won the title. He ran into Van Gerwen getting back to his best and playing the best we've seen from him all year. I think this was the opportunity. Mervyn King has improved this year on last year when he struggled. That's why he missed the match play this year. If he can keep playing like this, he has every single chance in every tournament, because he did play that well. But we haven't seen enough to think that he will be able to maintain that standard and fight like that over a course of an entire tournament to win one. I hope he proves me wrong, because that was fantastic to watch. And he should think about this as just a fantastic weekend for him. But I'll disagree with you. I don't think we'll see him in another TV final. But please, Mervyn, prove me wrong.